So more than a year ago, we've been having a lot of issues with our product being stocked out. Between supplying vessels coming to our terminals, between that time it takes for one vessel to return, there've always been tanks running too low, and markets sometimes coming to a halt because we don't have any product to fill cylinders or sell to our customers for their cylinders. And this generated a need for increased storage. Now this has always been something that we've been working on for the longest while, but because of the growth of the market and how our LPG sales team has been growing the market, we were able to get quick approvals to purchase two new 66,000 and 33,000 gallon tanks. Now these tanks will become more storage for us, increasing our storage capacity and allowing us to have some buffer stock in place until the vessel returns again with product.
Hi, my name is Aliyah Ali and I'm the Health, Safety and Environmental Supervisor for John Finance Limited. So John Finance was tasked with taking off 2 tanks of SOL from the vessel onto the wharf. So some safety measures that we put in place to ensure that this was a safe process is that we held a toolbox meeting with our team before the operation had commenced. Everybody knew their role, everybody knew that they were supposed to do, and we mentioned some safety aspects like ensuring that the individuals do not stand over the suspended load, can maintain a safe distance from any suspended load or when the tanks were coming off of the vessel and so on. We ensured that clear communication was kept between the banksman and the crane operators during the entire lift. So what happened was that both operators had to lift the tanks down simultaneously, because in the event that one lifted faster than the other, then we would have had to endure a tilt with the tanks. So both had to lift at the same time. So we had 2 banksmen directing 2 crane operators of the lift. So it was done equally and placed safely onto the wharf. So once the tanks were safely placed onto the wharf, our experienced rigging team would have rigged up these tanks to hook onto 2 stackers. These 2 reach stackers with a capacity of 45 tons, they simultaneously lifted the tanks, picked them up from the staging area and moved them to the storing area of the wharf. So once the trailer was inspected and deemed safe for use, we would have taken the reach stacker and lifted those tanks onto the trailer for demobilization. Prior to every operation that we have, we would go through the entire risk assessment and a lift plan with the team who is performing the operation, so everyone understands the risks involved and everyone understands how to mitigate from these risks. So we have a long-standing relationship with DACO Heavy Lift, who were the persons responsible for transporting these tanks to SOL Guyana. So they would have been the one to ensure the safe transportation. We of course were behind them at all times. We had engaged Guyana Police Force who provided traffic escorts. We had GPL on the job as well too, so to ensure that no low-hanging wires were in the way. If we encountered any wires, they would have acted and probably taken off the power from that area until we safely passed. So once we got to SOL site, we were inducted and we basically did the same process of how we lifted the tanks at our site. We did the same at SOL site.
My name is Randy Edwards and I am the Operations Manager for SOL Guyana Inc. What we normally do as part of our health, safety and environment and quality HSEQ process is that we incorporate what is known as a permit to work as well as a job safety analysis. The job safety analysis basically breaks up the operation to be had into parts, and then we look at the hazards involved, and then we look at the mitigations that we put in place so that these hazards don't occur. So this is one of the steps that we would have incorporated when we were considering moving the tanks from the trailer into position here at the site. All teams involved did a good job. We operated safely. One point to note where we can improve, when the second tank was lifted in, the movement was taken over the first tank. However, the plan was that it was supposed to go this way so that it doesn't move over the tank in the event that if it were to pop, it wouldn't come down and damage both tanks. So that is one thing that we would pay attention to on the next move of tanks to ensure that it moves over open area.
So this project started with our senior engineer, Mr. Bernard Cumberbatch, and I. We started the project with the intention to not just to increase storage, but also to make the plant more efficient. In so doing, we have hired a consultant to redesign all of the pipe work, all of the storage, resizing pipes to make sure that you have the most flow going to the filling plants and the loading points. It's been a process that we've been working on, still in progress, but we're getting there. With the inclusion of the tanks and the upgraded pipe work, some new equipment to help to improve the flow, I think we will be able to have a more efficient system in Guyana. One, saving a lot of wasted energy and making sure that when we deliver to our customers during peak times, like for example Christmas, we can deliver to the customers and not have a stock out issue or customers not having enough product to take them through the holidays, etc.